Good evening, Star Peoples. Tonight's message is for the teenagers. And this is because I'm thinking about myself as a teenager and how a lot of my choices and even values that I have accumulated are now playing into my adult life. And this one in particular is about popularity. So with popularity, watching movies growing up, different TV shows, just seeing how it works in high school, junior high, middle school, elementary school. A lot of the people who were popular did a lot of things that I disagreed with. Or in order to become popular, someone had to basically let go of who they were or sacrifice something that they felt was right or wrong just to fit in with everybody. And I always vowed that that wouldn't be me, that I would not sacrifice who I felt I was to be popular. And so I also didn't like the spotlight because what did it mean to be popular to me? To be popular to me meant you were always in the spotlight, you had lots of friends or friends. Everybody always wanted to be around you to see what was going to happen. It meant that you slept around a lot of people or that you were a jock. Kind of sort of low morals because people who were popular would do anything basically for their popularity. Someone who was more worried about if they were better than someone else as far as class, race, things like that, just to judge who was more popular, who had the most money, who was a lot of other different kind of things. Just a judging contest, competition. Everything was competition. So I vowed to stay away from stuff like that. So I was the type in high school where I dated people for a long time. I think I was with the same guy for like almost all of high school. And part of that was because I wanted to make a point that I didn't sleep around. And although jocks tried to talk to me or wanted to date me, I steered clear from them because, again, they were something I considered to be unlike me. Somebody who was really just about popularity, and that meant sleeping around, low morals. I was very judgmental at the time, as in they weren't up to my level. So that caused me to do a lot of certain things, such as playing small. And when I say play small, I mean that I was in honors, I was in AP classes, and I would have the answers to things a lot of times. And when the teacher would ask for the answer, I would sit there and I would say it to myself silently, or I would work out the problem and put it on my paper. And people who were sitting next to me would yell out my answers or would say to me, "How come you didn't say that answer? You had it right there in the paper." And the thing was I didn't want to be that person who stood out in any kind of way. I didn't want to be that person who stood out for being smart. I didn't want to be that person who stood out for being talkative. I didn't want to be that person who stood up as a rebel, even though inside I was rebelling and a lot of different things I did was to rebel. But I just was content with it being like the silent rebellion, the silent, I know I'm smart, I don't have to prove it to anybody else. Popularity to me was proving things to other people. And I was about proving it to myself and those who were actually close to me. So again, being popular meant things to me like having a small circle of friends. Intimate friendships was what was important to me. Not that everybody knew me, everybody act like they were cool with me. So this carried over into my adulthood. Not saying that it's good or bad. I'm not judging the situation. I look at it like this now since I'm an adult. And that is that those characteristics, those qualities of making me want to be so anti-popular, anything that was considered normal, anything that was considered in the spotlight, all that was needed so that I can become who I am, really. And I would say that I'm really humble. And that's a character trait I really value. And so although I value that character trait, it also limited me in some ways. So sometimes, even though we have good values or good qualities that are installed in us, good beliefs that make us wholesome, pure, whatever you want to call it, or just great characteristics for an individual to have. Sometimes they can limit us. So we really have to evaluate what we value, what beliefs we have, good or bad. That's why you don't judge them if they're good or bad, because it doesn't matter if they're good or bad to you. They can work polar opposite ways for you. So although I felt like that was a good value of mine, it made me really play small. And because I really didn't want to get in the spotlight. So that carried on through my adult life, where now I'm doing things where I need to be in the spotlight. Now I'm doing things where I realized that back then, not only was it that I didn't want to be popular, I didn't want to be in the spotlight. So therefore, I also felt like what I had to offer the world, what my purpose was so small, I couldn't make a difference. It didn't matter if I knew how to do this or how to do that. There was no real point to my existence because I played so small. I played so small, I felt like I was just a small pawn on the chessboard. And when you think like that, you do things like what I did. That whole YOLO, you only live once. And that you only live once it wasn't something that was, I live once, so I gave it my all, gave it my best, was super unique and creative and let the world know who I was. No, that was taking risks and doing things that I felt I knew better than to do, but because I felt like, who cares? I don't really matter. There's no purpose. So a lot of times, teenagers or young adults, we do things because we don't understand our purpose. We don't understand that we're here for something bigger. And now, since I do understand it, and I'm here to let you know that you do have a purpose, you are here for something bigger, whether you believe it or not right now, you'll realize it soon. And now it's important for me to step outside of my small circle. Let my message go out to people, even people who I don't know, because it's not about popularity. Now it's about understanding that I'm way bigger than I've been thinking of myself. It's time for me to play big. It's time for me to shine brightly, which is why I have that on my business cards, which is why I say that on my website, which is why I say it to other people and to myself, because it is that time to shine brightly. Shine so bright, people notice you. And not notice you because you're popular or trying to fit in, but notice you because you are you. You are different. You have a message. You have a purpose for this world. That's why you were created to be exactly who you are, completely different from other people. Any thought you have, any creative onset that you have, that's for a reason, and it came to you for a reason because no one else can do it but you. You have a reason, play big, and yes, YOLO, you only live once, and make that count. Good night, Star Peoples.